Okay, this should be live. Alright, good morning to those in the Philippines as well as Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, the Ryukyu Islands, and the Sakishima Islands. We are going to be discussing, of course, Typhoon Fung-wong once again, also now has been named Uwan in the Philippines. Let me just share this live stream on other social media platforms and then we'll get right into it. If you have any questions about the storm, you can always ask those questions in the live chat and I will get towards to answering them in the later part of the live stream. Did want to real quickly mention we are now 76 subscribers away from 5,000. So thank you all so much for the support. Let's see if we can reach it by the end of the storm. Alright, it is working. Aiden, Typhoon Lover, Andrew, and Duo are all in the chat. How are you all doing? Hopefully you're doing fine. Okay, now let's discuss the forecast now. It is currently a Category 2 typhoon. It is expected to quickly intensify into a major Category 3 or Category 4 typhoon by tonight, before then potentially reaching Category 4 or 5 super typhoon status by tomorrow morning. By tomorrow night, it looks like it will be slamming in the Philippines as a Category 4. Could be weaker, could be stronger. Okay, it could be making landfall as a Category 5 super typhoon. I still cannot rule out that possibility. Then after it passes through the Philippines, it will then be weakening down to a Category 1 typhoon before meandering slowly in the South China Sea, making a northwards curve still as a typhoon by day 3. By day 4, it is expected to weaken down to a moderate tropical storm before making landfall somewhere in Taiwan, and then becoming a post-tropical cyclone after that by day 5. Afterwards, at around day 6 or so, is when it would be forecasted to dissipate. Now let's talk impacts here. Starting off with marginal impacts, that does include the island of Palau, a majority of the Philippines here, including northern Mindanao, as well as portions of the central Visayas, eastern Visayas, Masbate, as well as parts of Mimaropa, and the Negros Island region, as well as western Visayas, all in that marginal category. Looking northwards now towards China, there is a portion here of Guangdong province, including Hong Kong there, and Fujian provinces of China and the eastern China there in that marginal category. The entirety of Taiwan is included in it, as well as the Ryukyu Islands and the Sakishima Islands are included in that marginal category. Stepping it up now to slight impacts. What areas are expected to see slight impacts? Well, it does include portions of the coast of eastern Samar, that's mainly a storm surge threat there, and then parts of northern Samar, and that's slight category. The entirety of the Bicol region is at least expected to see slight impacts, minus Masbate, and then also portions of western Mindoro in that slight category, as well as portions of Calabarzon in that slight category. I did want to mention also the marginal impacts for the Batanes Islands, slight impacts for the Babuan Islands. Then there is also portions of southern and eastern Taiwan in that slight risk. Stepping it up now to moderate impacts. What areas are expected to see moderate impacts? Well, it does include the coast of the Bicol region, the northeastern coast and southwestern coast over here for the Bicol region and Calabarzon, as well as portions of the NCR, so it does include Metro Manila now, and that's moderate category, as well as portions of central Luzon, really the entirety of central Luzon in that at least moderate category, as well as portions of the Ilocos region and Cagayan Valley and the CAR, all in that's a moderate or higher category. And that's going to be for surge in this region, right over here, and then this region as well. For storm surge, the rest is going to be rain and wind, kind of a combination of the two. Looking more north, though, it does include the eastern coast of Taiwan, mainly for rainfall. Now, stepping it up to major impacts, what areas are expected to see major impacts? Well, it does include the coast of the Bicol region there, including with parts of the western Catanduanes, as well as the coast of Camarines Norte, Camarines Sur, and parts of Quezon there, mainly because they're expected to see some pretty hefty storm surge totals, and I would now be extending that more northwards, including the coast of central Luzon, not just Aurora, or the rest of Quezon is what I mean. Moderate impacts are also expected along areas of Aurora, as well as Carino, Isabela, Ifugao, Nueva Vizcaya, Mountain Province, Kalinga, Payo, Abra, parts of Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, and La Union, and then parts of Pangasinan as well, potentially in that major impact category. Then looking more north, Taiwan, though, the east coast of Taiwan is in that major impact category. Again, that's going to be due to continuous rounds of flooding, several days of heavy rainfall following there. Now let's discuss the biggest impacts, the areas that could see potentially extreme or catastrophic impacts. That is going to be including the coast of Aurora. That area and parts of Carino could be seeing catastrophic impacts, as this could be making landfall as a Category 5 super typhoon. Currently, the forecast is calling for a Category 4, low-end Category 4. But this could still be making landfall as a super typhoon. I'm not going to rule that out. Still cannot rule that out. The half same auto run wants a landfall as a powerful Category 4, maybe even Category 5. So I'm yet to rule that out. See, let's briefly go over first I'm going to show you all a new graphic I've come up with. And I want to know your thoughts on this. Can you rate this graphic out of 10? I want to know if this is helpful or not, describing kind of the impacts, what I mean by this. So marginal impacts, you're going to want to expect minor tropical impacts with brief periods of gusty winds and some rain. A few branches may come down and minor street flooding is possible. In the slight category, noticeable storm conditions with gusts capable of knocking down tree limbs and causing power outages. Localized flooding may affect low spots. Moderate impacts, damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. And then the major impact category, severe winds can cause large-scale structural damage and long-lasting power and communication outages, life-threatening flooding in vulnerable areas. In the extreme category, catastrophic winds can destroy buildings and severely impact infrastructure for weeks or longer. Flooding may be unsurvivable. Recovery could take months. How's this graphic? Okay, 10, 10, 10. All right, 9.5. Thank you all so much for the support with that. I just made this today, so I'm glad that this is kind of helpful in determining your impact category. So you basically compare this with what color you're in on here, what to expect. So Metro Manila in that moderate category. So damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Alright. Yeah, I'll probably discuss this a lot more when I say if you're in moderate, major impacts, that kind of stuff. Anyways, let's look at the overview of tropics. I made a brief mistake here by duplicating this, so just ignore that. Anyways, we have Typhoon Fung-wong. Fung-wong, which is a Category 2 now, winds of 100 miles an hour, sustained 1 minute. And it is expected, of course, move west towards the Philippines before curving off towards Taiwan and then the islands of Japan. Kalmaegi is still ongoing, barely just as a remnant low. We have an Australian disturbance here with a 30% chance of development over the next 48 hours and a 40% chance over the next 7 days. Could already be a tropical cyclone. It's hard to tell without a scatterometer pass. This thing quickly tried to develop. Okay. Now, I did want to discuss I'll discuss this in a little bit. Okay, let's look at the satellite imagery of the storm. So the storm is massive right now, and it has an eye feature. You can see it right over here where that eye is located at. Continuing to move westwards, mainly west-northwestwards, and you can see the expansive outflow of the system. Are you guys seeing clouds in the Philippines right now? Have you been seeing some wispy clouds up tall? I want to hear from the chat, guys. Have you been seeing that? Because if you are, that's from the typhoon. If you're seeing some wispy clouds high up, that is going to be from Typhoon Uwan. Yes, I'm seeing some yeses in the chat. Yes, it just goes to show how expansive this storm is. It's massive. Yeah, Zenith says they see wispy clouds. Yeah, definitely see it. Andrew says not yet. Well, you could be seeing it soon. Yes, it says Duo. Yep. Again, a lot of the chat, though, seeing these wispy clouds. As you can see, the outflow is just so massive that you're already getting some of the clouds from it, even though it's so far away. We'll discuss the distance in a little while, but yeah, man, look at just how expansive the fans are there, the mohawk of the storm, just everywhere there over the Philippines. Of course, it's also a lot of good outflow to the northeastern side, but mainly to the northwest there. Let's hope it doesn't form a deathband like the previous storm did, just due to that outflow there. It currently looks like it's pretty symmetrical into where all the banding is located at. Maybe a little bit to the west, a little bit of a hint of one there. Again, though, just very healthy storm. Not really a whole lot of lopsidedness. It's pretty symmetrical right now. Looking at infrared, we can see powerful convective bursts. We saw one earlier here just fire so high into the troposphere there, just slamming in the tropopause. Some cloud tops reaching almost minus 100 degrees Celsius. Minus 80 Celsius is this pink color, and that's pretty rare for storms, especially in the Atlantic. But in this region, man, this storm's just doing so solid right now. It's pretty much trying to get a core together. It's trying to close off an eye, and you can see that eye right in here. So it is getting a little bit better defined, and we should see this increase in organization and consolidate more over the next 12 to 24 hours. So that's why we are forecasting a Category 4 or 5 intensity out of it, potentially super typhoon. Now, discussing the sea surface temperatures, very warm, 29 to 31 degrees Celsius all the way up until landfall in the Philippines. Let's discuss the other environmental factors the storm is going to be experiencing. Right in here. Okay, so shear right now is pretty low. It's almost in the moderate category now. That is going to be increasing and staying in roughly the moderate category all throughout its landfall in the Philippines. And then by the time it curves into Taiwan, it's also going to be in that moderate category. Now, discussing sea surface temperatures, very warm all the way up until the landfall in the Philippines. Then it starts cooling down more in the South China Sea, and that's why we could see some weakening before it nears Taiwan, Hong Kong, or the or Guangdong or Fujian provinces of China. Dry air may be impacting the system by the time it enters the South China Sea. So again, weakening is forecasted when it's in the South China Sea. I'm not expecting re-strengthening just yet. Now let's discuss the distances away from land. We also got a question about how large is the eye. Let's see, the eye is roughly around 100 kilometers wide, so it's a massive eye. In terms of distances from certain areas in the Philippines, let's discuss that. Okay, center is currently around 667 kilometers away from northern Samar, around 780 kilometers away from the Catanduanes, around 850 kilometers away from Camarines Sur, around 925 away from Camarines Norte. It's roughly around 1,080 kilometers away from Quezon and Calabarzon. Calabarzon. Sorry about that. And it's roughly around 1,100 kilometers away from Aurora. Isabela, it's around 1,100 kilometers away. And Cagayan's up to almost 1,200 kilometers away. Apayao is around 1,200. Same for Kalinga, Mountain Province, Ifugao, and Nueva Vizcaya. Nueva Ecija is around 1,200 kilometers away as well. Same for Pangasinan, Tarlac, Zambales, and Metro Manila's around 1,115 kilometers away. And you're already getting those wispy clouds from that far away. Even Mindanao is getting those wispy clouds, 1,000 kilometers away. Even parts of Palawan, and that's in that 1,000 to 1,500 kilometer away range. Taiwan's down to 1,500 kilometers away. Hong Kong's down to 2,100 kilometers away. Sekishima Islands of Japan, 1,500, and the Ryukyu Islands of Japan, 1,500 kilometers away. And looking away from the island of Palau, it is now getting farther away from Palau, but it's around 650 kilometers away from Palau and around 790 kilometers away from Yap. Looking at Cebu City, it's around 870 kilometers away. Oh, whoa, thank you all so much for all the people joining the stream. I was not expecting that. Wow, okay. So I did want to say, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We're trying to reach 5,000 by the end of the storm, and we are now down to 73 subscribers away from that. Thank you all so much for the support. Again, if you have any questions, you can ask them in the chat. Right now, I'm going over a general update for those who aren't watching it live, and then we'll get to more of those questions. So if you ask a question in the chat, I will get to it, okay? Please don't ask it twice. Let's look at the hurricane models and what they're showing. This is the latest run, the half-say model run on Typhoon Uwan there. Does have it becoming a super typhoon, does have it peaking out as a Category 5 here, just north of the Catanduanes, just north of the Bicol region, east of central Luzon and Calabarzon, and then does have it slamming into Luzon there as a super typhoon before entering the South China Sea still as a typhoon, meanders to the north, and this would be the best case scenario where it meanders just in between parts of China and Taiwan and just continues to weaken and shrink. But man, the storm is going to be massive though in size. Anything in green here is gale force winds sustained. Anything in that red color is damaging winds, and anything in that purple color is going to be typhoon force winds. And by damaging, I mean storm force winds. But anything in purple is typhoon force winds. And let's zoom out on the storm. Let's take a look at a zoomed out view. How many hours until impacts for portions of eastern Visayas and maybe the Bicol region? Looks like that's down to around 12 to 24 hours. For portions of the Philippines there, yeah, 12 to 24 hours. So in the preparations checklist, let's go over this. I did want to discuss the farthest out area right now, which is currently Taiwan. Impacts could be happening within 3 days. China's within 4 to 5 days or so. Same for the Ryukyu Islands in Japan. So let's go over this checklist. If you're in the Philippines, Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, the Ryukyu Islands, Sakishima Islands of Japan, you'll want to be following this part of the checklist at least, okay? So check forecast daily, and also if you want, you can take a screenshot of this just to help you stay better prepared. So, of course, I encourage it. Take screenshots of this so that way you can track your progress. So starting off with all those areas that I've listed before, you want to be checking forecast daily. If you're subscribed to the channel, you can automatically check off that box since you're already tuning in for updates. You want to be restocking essentials if you haven't already. Get more food, water, paper towels, batteries, and medications, around a 5-day supply or so of that. You want to be reviewing your evacuation zones. Figure out where you're going to be going. And for those in the Philippines, get ready to move now into that sturdier structure, okay? Get ready to move into a safe structure. Evacuate low-lying areas. You want to be removing loose debris from your yard as well. Those in the 3 days away category, this is going to be Taiwan now, and Taiwan and the Philippines in this category right here. You want to be washing clothes and dishes, backing up important documents, clean gutters and storm drains. Now going into the 48 hours away, those in the Philippines should have already completed this section right here, charging all devices, things like your phones, laptops, power banks, all those things, everything, charge those devices, and you'll want to be moving valuables to higher ground. There could be up to 500 millimeters of rain that fall, so you want to be having those items in a way that away from an area that could be destroyed. You want to also begin securing a safe room, or begin preparing a safe room. That's where you're going to be sleeping throughout the storm, as this could be a nocturnal threat for you. So get ready to have that all set up. Sunday night and Monday morning looks like a potential landfall, so make sure you have a room, an interior room in your house there that you can stay at. Now, you all are in the 24-hour to 12-hour wait category. What you're going to be wanting to do now in the Philippines, bringing in all loose outdoor objects, things like chairs, anything that could go flying in the winds, because this could have winds of over 200 kilometers an hour by the time it makes landfall. You also want to be boarding up and reinforcing windows and doors. Get that done today. If you haven't already, because a lot of these windows may be destroyed, especially in those areas in the moderate to major impact category. And then in the 12 hours away, those areas mainly for the eastern Visayas, mainly eastern Samar, northern Samar, and the Catanduanes, you're going to be wanting to stay home now. Stay sheltered at your location, and you're going to want to keep food, water, and first aid close by. So those in the Philippines there, in mainly portions of Luzon, central Luzon, northern Luzon, all those regions, you're going to be wanting to complete those preparations by tonight is what I'd recommend, because impacts are going to be deteriorating by tonight. So get the rest of the checklist complete. Alright. Now, going back to the other models, let's pull up the HWRF model run and what it is forecasting a landfall intensity to be. Looks like major typhoon. I wouldn't trust the accuracy of this model run, but it does have it making landfall, interestingly enough, as a typhoon into China. I'm not quite sure I believe that. Okay, now, looking at the... not really worth it to look at the other model runs just yet, because it's mainly the half-say model. We're getting more accurate. We'll look at some of the other patterns now. Let's look at the ensemble trends now. What has it trended with? If we look at some of the anomalies here, seeing which way has it trended over the past 24 hours or so. Let's start off by looking at right now. How has it trended over the past 24 hours? Looks like it stayed the same. Nothing has changed too much, really. Maybe the ridge over China is a little bit stronger. Other than that, though, nothing has really changed in the past 24 hours as of what it was forecast to be right now. Going forward 24 hours, if we see any forecast trends here, nothing really pops out too much. Maybe the ridge to the northeast is a little bit weaker. That's all I'm really noticing there. Where the location could be, it's trended a little bit more to the southwest, I'd say. More towards the Catanduanes. And then looking at the 48 hours away range, seeing if anything has trended differently here. Looks like the ridge over north of Taiwan has trended a little bit weaker. And the ridge to the northeast has also trended a little bit weaker on here. Going out to hour 72, this is day 3 now. What has changed? It's shifted more to the southwest, but that ridge to the northeast has weakened on this, at least on the trend here. Going out to day 4, when it's by Taiwan, it's trended more slower, and it looks like the ridge is then stronger over the Ryukyu Islands of Japan. Going now to, whoops, wrong button. Going now down to, or up to day 5. Nothing really noticeable here. Maybe the ridge to the east is a little bit stronger. Not as much of a low pressure area when it exits Taiwan. Okay, now let's discuss rainfall totals. How much rain could you be seeing from the system over the next 3 days? Let me refresh this page. Or not just the 3 days, let's go 7 days. In terms of rainfall totals, European run for Palau looks like an additional rainfall totals of up to 80 millimeters of rain. Looking at portions of Samar here, up to around 200 millimeters rain. The Katanawanas are going to see up to 300 millimeters of rain. Parts of the Bicol region, the rest of the Bicol region seems up to being around the same amount, up to 300 millimeters of rain. Same for portions of Mindoro. Some isolated pockets in Luzon could see up to 400 millimeters of rain, at least from the European model. Looking at eastern Taiwan, they could be seeing up to 500 millimeters of rain, even worse rainfall totals. Now moving over to the American run, how much rainfall are they predicting? The Katanawanas are expected to see up to 400 millimeters of rain, and the landfall location in Aurora is going to be around 300 to 400 millimeters of rain. That doesn't include other portions of Luzon. Metro Manila gets over 100 millimeters of rain. Looking at Taiwan, generally lower totals of around 200 millimeters of rain, but that's still severe. Looking at the German run on the system, the Katanawanas Island gets around 300 millimeters of rain, and that goes for portions of Luzon as well, wherever it makes landfall. Northwestern Pangasinan is expected to see up to 500 millimeters of rain, though, on this model run. Looking at portions of eastern Taiwan, rainfall totals of up to 400 millimeters of accumulations there. Now let's see, wind accumulations. Which model run is doing the best job? Let me check. German run's normally the best on this, but let me check the others. Americans too low. Europeans, I'll use both of them here. The European run's a little bit more to the south, has wind gusts of up to 180 to 190 kilometer an hour winds happening for the Katanawanas. Just offshore, up to 300 kilometer an hour winds are going to be possible. Portions of Calabarzon, up to 150 kilometer an hour winds. Portions of Aurora could see up to 200 kilometer an hour winds, maybe even stronger than that. Of course, portions of Luzon could see up to 190 kilometer an hour winds or higher. Quezon City and Metro Manila gets up to around 90 kilometer an hour winds on this model run. And the same goes for the German run. German run showing peak winds of up to 290 kilometers an hour. And of course, those strongest winds will be happening right along the coast. Let's see. Well, thank you all so much for the support. This is the most amount of people from the Philippines that have ever been watching my stream. So thank you all so much for the support. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We are now down to 67 subscribers away from 5,000. So please, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. See, wow, okay, cannot believe it. We're already down to 67 subscribers away from 5,000. That's pretty incredible. Thank you all so much for all the support. Let's see, can we get that number to drop below 67, please? Thank you. There we go. Thank you. Okay. Let's see there. Okay, yeah, guys, I see the chat. Yes, I know. Just had to do it. Anyways, thank you all so much for the support. I do really mean that. Okay, thank you all so much. Anyways, now, let's get back to the storm. Okay, there are signal warnings in effect, and I'll go over that in a moment. Let's look at the Google AI Ensemble members, though. What are they thinking? This is the 12Z run, and the 18Z run is going to be out. There we go. This is the 18Z run. What is the consensus showing? It's showing it should be a Category 4 right now, although that's, or Category, yeah, Category 4 right now, but that's inaccurate. It does have it peaking out as a Category 5 there, winds of, or a super typhoon, does slam into Luzon there as a major typhoon, potentially super typhoon, even the Katanawanas. But let's look at the probabilities of where it could be making landfall. There's around a 1, 2, 3, 4, that would be around an 8% chance that it makes landfall in around the Bicol region. Now, if we look more north here, the probabilities of if it will make landfall in Isabela or Aurora. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10% chance it makes landfall in Isabela, a 90% chance it makes landfall in Aurora. Looking most likely that it will be making a landfall in Aurora. Just it's increasing and increasing in chances there, but it's not just going to be Aurora that's going to be getting a major blow from the system. It will also be portions of Carino, Nueva Vizcaya, Nueva Ecija, Isaiha, my bad. And then portions of Benguet, La Union, Pangasinan, Ifugao, Ilocos Sur, all those regions, even Mountain Province and Kalinga and Abra, could be seeing a direct blow from the system. It's not just going to be confined to the coast of where it will be making landfall. There will also be portions inland that could be seeing major impacts, as this could be rolling through as a major typhoon still. Dang. Okay, sorry. Turns out one of my college friends was watching the stream during that joke. Dang. Okay, wait. Are we seriously down to 54 subscribers? Wow. Thank you all so much for all the support. We might actually hit 5,000 by the end of the stream. That would be crazy. Thank you all so much for the support. Now let's go over some of the. How about let's discuss the model trends right now? Looking at what the model trends have been showing over the past 24 hours or so. Let's do the last 5 cycles. You know what? How about last 2 days or so? Let me refresh this to get a more up-to-date information. Okay, here. So, Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecast. It has been shifting slightly to the south, still making landfall in Aurora, but more towards central or Aurora instead of northern Aurora. It does have it plowing through Nueva Ecija and Pangasinan, and as well as Benguet there and La Union there as a major typhoon still. In terms of the intensity forecast, it's still been consistent at its peak, but it's been intensifying a little bit slower than what was forecasted previously, which is always good news. Looking at the ensemble members here, the GEFS ensemble mean here, if we open it up on a new tab, generally staying locked in on a solution of it making landfall somewhere in Aurora, northern Aurora, looks to be the landfall location there. Looking at the European ensembles and what they are showing, they have continued to trend more to the south, looks like. Let's see, is this correct? Yes, this is the most recent run. Yeah, continuing to shift more and more to the south, getting closer to Metro Manila. Does have it making landfall in around, looks to be around central or southern Aurora now. Instead of it making landfall near Cagayan or Isabela, it's now trended pretty far to the south. That's because it's been moving more and more to the southwest compared to forecast, moving more westward, not making as much of a northward curve anymore. And it does still have it hooking over towards Taiwan. Looking at the Canadian ensembles, what are they showing? They have also now locked in on, or moved to the south. They were locked in on a solution happening around Cagayan. They have now shifted south towards the border of Isabela and Aurora provinces in the Philippines. I don't think this loop is going to verify. This is just an ensemble mean, so not really where it's going to go. It's just half of them going off towards the east, maybe half of them going off towards the west, and that's why it shows a loop. See, now looking at the German ensembles, what are they showing? These past 2 runs have shown a landfall in Aurora there. Looks like, that is Aurora there, making landfall there. Maybe the past 2 or 3 model runs. No, mainly the past 2 slamming in Aurora there. It has trended more to the south, closer to Metro Manila. Alright, now looking at the AIFS ensembles, these are the European AI ensemble members. What are they showing for analogs? Showing it's shifting more to the south there still, and looks like southern portions of Aurora. Maybe central or southern Aurora getting landfall there. It has moved a little bit more to the north compared to the forecast runs over the past day or so, but it is continuing to be locked in on landfall there happening in Aurora. See, then looking at the Eagle Ensemble members, still Aurora. It's on the southern end, though, of guidance. Looking at the now deterministic model runs, this should be doing a much better job now as we're getting closer and closer to Landfall. Locked in for the American run, making Landfall in Aurora. There, in terms of intensity, stayed pretty consistent. Looking at the European run, looks like it's uptrended even more by the time it enters the South China Sea. In terms of location, though, it has trended more to the south, looks like. A landfall happening in around Aurora, southern Aurora potentially. Instead of it being in Isabela, it's trended more to the south, closer to Metro Manila. Canadian run, pretty much all over the place. It's been going up, down, doesn't know where exactly it will be making landfall. This one has it making landfall in Isabela. UK Mets, I don't trust that model run at all. Looking at the German run, it also has trended more south. This is a little bit close for comfort for the Katanawanas right there, potentially as a major super typhoon. Very close. That would be delivering typhoon force winds for the island. Again, though, showing landfall happening in around northern Aurora in this model run. Now let's look at the higher resolution hurricane models. Where have they been trending? These were the models that were the most north earlier. They have been continuously trending more and more to the south. Fortunately, no, I'm not going to discuss that. But in terms of the landfall location, it has been shifting more to the south. Instead of it being initially, like a few days ago, in Cagayan and the Babuan Islands, it shifted more to the south, down towards Aurora. If this trend keeps it up, it may be heading towards Metro Manila, but let's hope that it locks in on the solution, doesn't keep swapping around, and let's hope the damage isn't too severe. Looking at the HAFS A model run, I'm curious about the intensity forecast. It's been following it pretty decently, pretty locked in on an intensity of around Category 4 or 5 intensity. In terms of where it's going to be making landfall, locked in on a location there, making landfall in around Isabela or Aurora. Does have it hooking off towards the northeast, and it has been curving more and more to the northeast there. I would expect this to eventually curve more to the east into it, making landfall in Taiwan. Okay. So, looking at the Google DeepMind model on here, it's been consistently not verifying in terms of the rapid intensification. And why is that, you may be asking? It's so large, it is hard to get a core going, okay? This is one of the largest eyes we've seen in this basin since probably Kong-ray of last year. So this thing is massive. It's hard to consolidate a storm that's this large. I believe it's the conservation of angular momentum is what it's called. Pretty much the smaller the eye in the eye wall, the faster the wind spin, and also the quicker it is to organize. Something this large takes time. It's struggling right now. It's a mess right now, but rainfall rates don't really, or flooding doesn't care if it's a small or large storm. It gets much worse when it's a larger storm, okay? It doesn't matter about intensity. It doesn't matter about the wind intensity, that's what I meant to say. It matters more about the size, and so this size is massive. That's why the flood potential is continuing to increase. Again, you all in the Philippines are seeing some clouds from the system, those outer clouds, so I mean, you're already seeing some of that, some of those clouds from it, and you will be seeing some of those outer rain bands soon. Well, wow, thank you all so much for the support. We're now down to 46 subscribers away from 5,000. Thank you all so much for the support. Let's see if we can hit it by the end of the stream. Now let's talk signal warnings. What are these signal warnings in effect for portions of the Philippines? Let's pull that up. I'll pull up the latest forecast from Pagasa. See here. Okay, just trying to find it. There it is. Okay. Starting off with the forecast cone on it. They do have it as a typhoon right now, and they do have it strengthening into a super typhoon by tomorrow morning, okay? Super typhoon by tomorrow morning. It is expected to, let me just check what the peak intensity is. 195 kilometer an hour super typhoon by the time it makes landfall in the Philippines. Looks like Aurora, but it could be making landfall anywhere from Cagayan all the way down to the Catanduanes. It's where the forecast cone includes. It does then start exiting the Philippines by Monday morning. Again, though, making landfall sometime between Sunday night and Monday morning. Then exits the Philippine area of responsibility on Tuesday morning. Man, look at the size of the wind field with this system. Let me just circle this for you all. Let me do one like that, and one like that there. And let's just go to show if this... Whoops, that's not what I meant. No, okay, sorry. This is what I meant right here. Okay, if we continue this forecast here on around 2 p.m. today, you can see some of those areas of at least strong winds will already be impacting portions of eastern Visayas. Then if we skip ahead now towards Sunday morning at around 2 a.m., you can see that area of at least strong winds almost impacting Metro Manila. It is impacting portions of northern Mindanao and as well as portions of eastern Visayas, central Visayas, the Negros Island region, western Visayas, as well as the Bicol region, Calabarzon, as well as portions of central Luzon and eastern Cagayan Valley. Then as we get towards, this would be 2 p.m. tomorrow on Sunday, some of those areas of at least storm force winds are going to be impacting portions of the Camarines Norte, Camarines Sur, maybe the northern portions of the Catanduanes. And then the areas of at least strong winds does include the entire island of Luzon, as well as Mindoro, as well as Masbate, areas in Samar, Leyte, all those regions, the central Visayas, Negros Island region, western Visayas, Mimaropa, portions of there, and the Babuan Islands, as well as the Batanes Islands, all seeing impacts from this. And then, of course, it makes its landfall, then moves over. The area of at least storm force winds do get a little bit close to Metro Manila there, at least on this forecast run. And if it goes more to the south there, they'd be getting hits with storm force winds there, that inner circle. So that's the latest forecast cone from Pagasa. Now let's talk signal warnings. What signal warnings are in effect across the Philippines? Let's see, does this work? Yes. Oh boy. A lot of Signal 1 warnings in effect. Signal 1 warnings are in effect as far south as northern Caraga there, as well as portions of central Visayas, the entirety of eastern Visayas, the northern portions of the Negros Island region, as well as northern portions of western Visayas, northern portions of Mimaropa, including Mindoro. We've got the entire Bicol region in at least Signal 1 warnings, as well as the entire island of Luzon in Signal 1 warnings. The Babuan Islands are also now under Signal 1 warnings. Signal 2 warnings are in effect for the Catanduanes, as well as northern Samar, the northern portions of Samar, and northern portions of eastern Samar there in that Signal 2 warning category. Some of these areas will likely be seeing upgrades to Signal 3 to 4 warnings, with potentially areas in around Aurora could be seeing up to Signal 5 warnings. Alright. So that's a look at the latest signal warnings in effect for the Philippines. Now let's talk storm surge. What is the storm surge expected to be like? And this is why some areas in this impact graphic needs to be updated for the storm surge. So this is the third storm surge warning for the next 48 hours here. Areas that are expected to see 1 to 2 meters of surge. This would be a moderate impact, or sorry, marginal impacts at least, or I believe, slight impacts, excuse me. Portions of northern Caraga there, including Dinagat Islands, as well as portions of eastern Samar. Eastern Samar is expected to see 1 to 2 meters of storm surge. Looking more to the northern parts of the Philippines, the Babuan Islands and the Batanes Islands are expected to see 1 to 2 meters of storm surge. The northern portions and northeastern portions of Cagayan, as well as the entirety of Ilocos Norte and Ilocos Sur are expected to get 1 to 2 meters of surge. Western Pangasinan, the entirety of Zambales, as well as the entirety of Bataan and Metro Manila, as well as Pampangan, Bulacan, Cavite, as well as Batangas. All those areas are expected to see 1 to 2 meters of storm surge. Going up now to the moderate impacts category here of 2 to 3 meters of storm surge. That does include the northern portions of Samar there. So northern Samar are expected to see 2 to 3 meters of surge, as well as now portions of, or the entirety of La Union, mainly northwestern portions, and the northwestern portions of Pangasinan. Areas that are expected to see at least major impacts with 3 meters of storm surge. That does include a majority of Luzon there, the east coast. That does include the eastern coast of Sorsogon, as well as the east coast of Albay, as well as the eastern and northern coast of Camarines Sur, as well as in Camarines Norte, and the entirety of the Catanduanes are expected to see more than 3 meters of storm surge. And portions of Quezon expected to see 2 to 3 meters of surge, as well as Aurora, the entirety of Isabela, and the southern portions of Cagayan, 2 to, or more than 3 meters of surge. There is a portion of southwestern La Union, as well as northern, central Pangasinan expected to see more than 3 meters of storm surge. This would be major to catastrophic impacts are expected in those areas in red for storm surge. Now let's talk rainfall. What is the rainfall forecast from the system from Pagasa? A lot of areas are in a red warning now. I'll pull that up. Okay, let's start off with today's forecast, because again, impacts could begin as early as today and tonight's. So, areas that are expected to see 50 to 100 millimeters of rain, it does include eastern Samar as well as northern Samar, as well as the Catanduanes are expected to see 50 to 100 millimeters of rain. Localized flooding is possible, mainly in areas that are urbanized, low-lying, or near rivers. Landslides possible in highly susceptible areas. Now, let's talk tomorrow's forecast. Okay, this is when it inches very close to the Philippines. Tomorrow's forecast, areas that are expected to see 50 to 100 millimeters of rain includes the entire region of the Ilocos region, the entirety of the CAR, as well as looks like a majority of central Luzon, as well as the NCR. So this does include Metro Manila. It does include Calabarzon, as well as the entirety of Mindoro. Let's see, Romblon, those areas, and southwestern Samar in that 50 to 100 millimeter category. Stepping it up to 100 to 200 millimeters of rain, that does include the northern and eastern portions of Samar, as well as the southeastern Bicol region and southeastern Calabarzon region, and Masbate, as well as portions of Isabela, Cagayan, Carino, and Nueva Vizcaya, all in that 100 to 200 millimeter category for tomorrow alone. Now, portions that could be seeing over 200 millimeters of rain does include Albay, Camarines Sur, Catanduanes, and Camarines Norte, and the Bicol region there. And Aurora in central Luzon are expected to see over 200 millimeters of rain for tomorrow alone. Now let's talk the day after that. This is going to be Monday's rainfall totals. How much rain could fall on Monday? Well, the 50 to 100 millimeters of rain accumulations are expected to happen in Camarines Sur, Camarines Norte, Romblon, the eastern portions of Mindoro, and northeastern portions of Mimaropa. The Batanes Islands are also expected to see that amount of rain. Now, stepping it up to the 100 to 200 millimeter category, this does include western Mindoro, a majority of the Calabarzon, or the entirety of Calabarzon, as well as portions of central Luzon. Yep. And now, looking at the areas that are expected to see over 200 millimeters of rain, that does include a majority of Luzon. It does include Pampang, or Bataan, or what area is that? Okay. Zambales, that's what that is, my bad. As well as portions of Pangasinan, or the entirety of Pangasinan, Nueva Ecija, as well as Aurora, Carino, Nueva Vizcaya, Benguets, La Union, Ilocos Sur, Ilocos Norte, Apayao, Abra, Kalinga, Mountain Province, Ifugao, Carino, Isabela, and Cagayan. All in that's over 200 millimeters of rain impact category. Now, these areas, mainly Aurora is expected to see over 400 millimeters of rainfall. That is major to potentially catastrophic impacts in the form of rain. We already discussed the wind impacts, potentially getting a super typhoon slamming into them. And now this surge is going to be a major to catastrophic. So, again, this could be a catastrophic blow to Aurora. Let's discuss what that means again. Potentially extreme or catastrophic. Catastrophic winds can destroy buildings and severely impact infrastructure for weeks or longer. Flooding may be unsurvivable. Recovery could take months. So again, they're in that possibility of catastrophic impacts there in pink for portions of Aurora. Okay, now let's answer some questions. Okay, I see that there's a lot of chats. Going to be a while for me to catch up to all the questions. Oh man, okay, I can't even scroll up all the way, unfortunately. So many chat messages. Okay. Let's see. Ketubig is in wind signal 2, I'm not sure. Yeah, most watched Filipino stream. Thank you all so much for all the support. We are now down to 38 subscribers away from 5,000. Let's see if we can hit it by the end of the stream. If you're liking this kind of content and you want to stay more up to date on storms impacting your region, including Fung-wong or Uwan, just be sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps keep you up to date. Well, we've already gained over 25 subscribers so far. Thank you all so much for the support. I do my best to keep you all updated. Spend as much time as I can to keep you all informed. Alwa says, I've been watching you since 2023 and you helped me a lot and also inspired me to track these tropical cyclones, of course. And if you like tracking tropical cyclones, you can join the Discord server, discord.gg/chaseastorm. Let's answer more questions here. Yeah, Google DeepMind might be wrong a little bit. Let's discuss the Google AI Ensemble members in terms of the most recent run. What are the probabilities showing? Let me pull this up on my laptop just to do some coding real quick to try and see what are the probabilities of its peak intensity looking like now. Let me run it through here. That's wrong. Okay. And we're going to be getting a look now. How many of the Ensemble members are showing a Category 5 peak? I'm curious what you all think it's going to be. What's the percentage do you all think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be around 90%, 80%? I am going to pull that up now. What? Oh, come on. I typed it in wrong. Whoops. Okay, there we go. Okay, 74% of the Ensemble members are showing Category 5. That is down, fortunately. It's down from 96% chance from yesterday. 26% chance it peaks out as a Category 4, so at least Category 4 is being expected out of it. A minimum intensity is going to be 115 knots. That's going to be around low-end Category 4. The bottom 25% is going to be 155 mile an hour Super Typhoon. That's high-end Category 4. The average is going to be 150 knot. That's 175 mile an hour Category 5 Super Typhoon. That's the average. Still expecting not just a low-end Category 5. The upper 25% are forecasting around 180 mile an hour Category 5 Super Typhoon. And then the highest end is 175 knots. I forget how strong that is. That is 200 miles an hour. That's the maximum intensity being forecasted. So again, it has gone down a little bit. That's always good news to hear. Now let's talk pressure. What is the forecasted pressure looking like? Let me run this through the code. So, chances it reaches a pressure below 960 millibars, 100%. Chances of a pressure below 940 millibars, 98%. Probability of a pressure below 920 millibars, 84%. Probability of a pressure below 900 millibars, that'd be sub 900 at 22%. And at 890 millibars, 4%. The lowest pressure is 881.1 millibars. Highest pressure is 942.1 millibars. The average is 910.2. That's Category 5 pressure. Right. Somebody says, I feel like it would weaken to a Cat 4 right before landfall. Let's hope so. At least on the Google AI Ensemble members, they have it peaking out as a Category 5, then weakening to a Category 3 or 4. Now, the reasoning for this, let's discuss this, okay? The reasoning it's looking like it weakens some before landfall. This is the Ensemble mean, okay? This takes the average of all 50 members. Okay, it takes the average of this guy right here, this guy, and these guys, and then all these guys, and it places it in the center and the center intensity. Now, the way that this can be misleading is the fact that it's also taking into account some of the Ensemble members that are already on land. Of course, if a storm is on land, it's already going to be weakening, okay? So it's not indicative of landfall intensity, it's indicative of the strength at this point in time. So, in reality, you'd have to exclude the Ensemble members that are already on land. You know what, let me see if we can actually kind of do that. Not quite sure how we would end up doing that here. Whoops, okay. A little bit difficult to select the ones that aren't on land just yet. Something like this. Yeah, the consensus looks like Category 4 landfall then. It does have it weakening to a Category 4 from a Category 5. That's good, but we could use more weakening than that. Unfortunately, models like the HAFS A that we showed earlier there is not expecting much weakening at all up until landfall. It is expecting it to potentially peak out as it's making landfall in the Philippines there. It does have it making landfall around the border of Isabela and Aurora provinces there. Yep, so Category 5 does have it weakening slightly, though, at landfall to a Category 4. Let's hope it weakens before that landfall. Again, I see a lot of people tuning in the stream. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We're now down to 34 away from 5,000. So if you're watching this stream, you're probably going to be seeing me reach 5,000 subscribers. Wow, okay. I'm just going to share this stream to the rest of my college here. Let me just say here. Alright. So yeah, if you haven't already, please consider... Oh, okay, now we're down to 31 away. Thank you all so much for the support. Let's see. Let's answer some more of these questions. I'm definitely expecting a very major power outages in Abra as well. Yeah, Abra is expected to see potentially major impacts there. Let me pull that up again. Yeah, Abra. Sorry, I was looking for my map. It's on my laptop here. Abra is expected to see major impacts, so you could be seeing long duration power outages. Yes, Isabella may see a signal 4 or 5 warning, depending on where the forecast actually shifts. Let's see, yeah, Google DeepMind is good at tracks, but not necessarily intensity. You're right on that. Iloco Sewer might be having a wind stronger than Bulacan's winds. Let's see. What else? Uwan will starting a weakening trend in Taiwan when it makes landfall. There's remnant lower post-tropical cyclone. Yes. Guys, how fast is it right now? Let's discuss the forward movement of the storm right now over the past, let's do hour or so. Okay, this is the latest Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecast. They are forecasting some slight weakening before landfall, forecasting a Category 3 landfall. That's much better than a Category 4 or 5. In terms of how fast it's been moving, let's discuss that. So over the past hour or so, it's moved around 35 kilometers. And then if we go beyond that here, let's just see how fast has it been moving. Roughly 30 to 35 kilometers an hour. That's how quickly the storm is moving. Look at the size of the storm now compared to the Philippines. Getting closer and closer. Let's see. Well, down to 27 subscribers away from 5,000. Let's see. The Pagasa says that they will be as strong as last year's Super Typhoon Manny Pepito. Yeah, it could be making a landfall as the same intensity as Pepito was. Some of the model trends are outdated. Okay, what would be the wind speeds in Paranaki? Let me pull up that place. Paranaki. Don't know where you mean. If you're talking about Manila, looks like winds could be around typhoon force or so. Let's see what else. Got a lot of questions. Baguio City, in terms of rainfall totals there, Baguio City is expected to see, let's talk about Benguets there. In terms of rainfall totals for Benguets, this day 50 to 100 millimeters rain, the next day over 200 millimeters rain. So over 250 millimeters rain is forecasted to fall across Benguets. Yeah, Manny Pepito had a tiny inner core, which meant Metro Manila got spared from the worst of it. Well, this storm is much larger than Manny was. Do you think the Sierra Madre can still weaken it? Well, when it makes landfall in Sierra Madre, yeah, that's in the Philippines, I believe. Yeah, that will weaken the storm. It's going to go from a Cat 4 to a Cat 1. The Philippines will weaken it significantly. It's going to tear apart the storm quite significantly, and I'm not quite sure it's going to recover in the South China Sea. How large is Uwan? Let's discuss that. In terms of the size of the eye, let's start off with that. The size of the eye is up to 90 kilometers wide. In terms of the main core of the system, around 500 to 600 kilometers wide. In terms of the main bands, up to 1,300 kilometers wide. In terms of the outflow, up to 2,300 kilometers wide. So this thing is massive in size. Someone says, I think Uwan will only be a Category 3 at landfall in the Philippines. Let's hope it weakens to that intensity. Let's see, what other things here? Just moving down, moving down. Yeah, NCR may have typhoon force weather. Yes, that is possible. I think China will be affected. Yeah, it could be making, regardless really of where it goes, it seems like China will be seeing some sort of marginal impacts from it, maybe just the outer rain bands. They are models have been consistently showing potentially over 50 millimeters of rain or so along the coast of China. Even the wind impacts, gale force winds to storm force winds, could be impacting the coast of China. Well, we're down to 22 subscribers away from 5,000. Thank you all so much for the support so far. Yes, Metro Manila is now under a moderate threat category. So in terms of impacts that Metro Manila could be seeing, damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. They're in the moderate category of impacts. They could be upgraded to major impacts if this shifts more to the south. Could be shifted less impacts if it shifts more to the north. We'll see. Okay, we'll see what it's looking like over the next 24 hours or so. It's been shifting more to the south, so let's hope that trend does not continue. Is Bulacan gonna get hits? Bulacan, hold on, where have I heard that before? Okay, Bulacan is over there. Bulacan is expected to see, if I pull up this map again, man, I need to overlay, I'm sorry guys, I'm going to need to overlay the provinces of the Philippines in this map, okay, just so that way I can better tell you the impacts there. But you are expected to see moderate impacts from the system. So again, the impacts that you could be seeing, damaging winds may be snapping trees and tear weaker roofs, flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads potentially impassable. That's the impacts that you could be getting. Could see higher, could see lower. Someone says, I think Typhoon Uwan will be the worst globally typhoon of the Philippines, and maybe rivaling Hurricane Melissa or Super Typhoon Pagasa. It could. In terms of the size of the storm and the flash flood potential this holds, it could be pretty significant at landfall. I don't think it's going to be as bad as Melissa was in Jamaica, but I still am expecting impacts just below Melissa and Regassa in terms of the kind of impacts it's going to be delivering. Because the Babuan Islands saw catastrophic impacts from Regassa, Jamaica saw catastrophic impacts from Melissa. Potentially catastrophic impacts could occur for portions of Aurora and the Philippines from Uwan or from Fung-wong. Let's see. Why does the Philippines get a lot of typhoons? Well, I mean, like look at the amount of ocean they have to the east. Storms like to track west, and the waters are very warm in this region, so they just continue moving west, and then Philippines are just right in their way. Normally, storms will sometimes just try to curve out to sea, but really they just doesn't have a lot of room to curve out to sea until after it hits the Philippines. So really, I mean, they just got to hit a lot because of that. Yes, the outer wispy clouds are hitting my area in Rizal. Yeah, guys, if you were seeing the wispy clouds, let me know in the chat. If you look outside and you see some wispy clouds from the system, that is from Typhoon Uwan. You're already seeing some of the outer outflow from the system. Storms like tropical cyclones here, when they're becoming so powerful, pretty much they have an inner circulation like this. You know it as a counterclockwise rotation there, but they also have. Let me get this to update. Yeah, they also have an outer circulation here up higher. That's why you see the wispy clouds at the top there that go out in a motion like this. That's pretty much funneling out heat from the system, allowing it to intensify even further. And this outflow is in extreme right now, all the way to the west there, impacting portions of the Philippines. You don't get really much impacts from that outflow, maybe some rain bands, things like that, or increased moisture, but not a whole lot of impacts. The rain bands aren't there. It just shows you how much of a rapidly intensifying storm this is. Someone says it's overcast in Metro Manila. Yeah, that's from this system. If you're looking outside and you're seeing clouds, it is from this typhoon. Yeah, it's not going to be making landfall in Manila, but they could still see moderate impacts. Oh, nearly 300 people watching. Thank you all so much for the support. We are now down to 17 subscribers away from 5,000. Thank you all so much for the support. Well, okay. Luzon in general could be seeing signal 5 warnings, yes. Rizal, in terms of impacts in Rizal, you are expected to see moderate impacts from the system. So again, you could be seeing damaging winds, maybe snapping trees and tearing weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Yeah, the cone of uncertainty is still huge, but it is shrinking. Okay, we are growing in confidence as to where it's going. Yesterday's cone was probably like this, I'd say, something like that, and it has shifted a little bit more to the south potentially, but the cone though cropped away from the northern portions. Again, though, I specifically make these graphics because it's not just the cone that matters. It matters as to how large the storm is. You can see the impacts happening well outside of the cone. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're in the cone or not, or like, it doesn't matter if you're in the cone. It matters what kind of impacts are you going to be seeing. And Pagasa said it would shrink slightly. If it shrinks, that means it's also intensifying more. So it's like, what do you all prefer? Do you prefer a larger storm but weaker storm, or do you prefer a smaller storm that's much stronger? So really, it's like both of them have their pros and cons. The fact that it's so large is preventing it from being a Cat 5 right now. If it was much smaller earlier, it would have been a Category 5 by now. This system, though, because it's so large, it's taking its time and intensifying. But it's causing more areas to see impacts from the storm. How big is Trammy from last year? Is it similar to Fung-wong? Let's pull up Trammy of last year. See, don't remember which one was Trammy here. Is it going to be? Oh, it's before Yingxing, I think. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Let me just check. Is this... Oops, my bad, I skipped through it. Okay. That's Trammy. In terms of the size of Trammy, how large was Trammy? I'd say this storm is larger than Trammy was. Yeah, this storm was probably twice the size of Trammy. Yeah, thank you all so much for all those people watching. We are now down to 13 subscribers away from 5,000. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps me get the word out to more people, including you. Yeah, the rainfall projection from Pagasa is unbelievable. Yeah, I get what you're saying by that. Yeah, over 200 millimeters of rain for pretty much the entirety of the northern half of Luzon there. And Aurora is expected to see potentially over 400 millimeters of rain. Over 200 millimeters of rain tomorrow, over 200 millimeters of rain on Monday. So potentially over 400 millimeters of rain. That's the conservative estimate. See, just scrolling through. Yep, I'm learning geography. Yep. Yeah, every year is the Philippines is getting super typhoons. Unfortunately, well, we're down to 9 subscribers away. Let me just make an announcement here. I'm going to share this stream. And let's see, we're about to reach 5,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. 7 subscribers away from 5,000. Guys, thank you all so much for the support. I cannot believe if you asked me this a month ago, I would say there's no way. There's no way I would have reached 5,000 subscribers by the by the end of the year. let alone before the middle of November. I thought that I wouldn't even reach it until the end of November. Once after Melissa, really, I didn't think I'd. It was going to be a battle whether or not I'd reach 5,000. We're now down to 6 away. Thank you all so much. 5 away from 5,000 subscribers. Well, 4 away from 5,000 subscribers. Wow, man, this is crazy to think. I don't think I would imagine I'd get this far. 3 away from 5,000 now. Oh wow. Man, okay, I couldn't even celebrate 4,000 because of Melissa and now this storm. 2 away from 5,000 subscribers. Wow. Okay, here I guess we're gonna hit it any minute now. Thank you all so much for the support. There we go, 5,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much for the support. I will do my best to celebrate it after the Typhoon hits, okay? Couldn't even celebrate 4,000. We're going to skip that celebration entirely. We're going to be celebrating 5,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much for the support. It really means a lot to me, okay? You're helping me get the word out to as many people as possible. I really appreciate it. I cannot believe that I hit 5,000 subscribers on this stream. Thank you all so much. I thought it was going to be another at least several days. If you asked me a month ago, I would say, oh, it's going to be at least a year until I reach that. So, man, this is a dream of mine, getting this information out to you all. So I really just want to say I really appreciate all the support, okay? This means the world to me. Anyways, how about let's get back to discussing the storm? Okay, I'm not gonna take up a whole lot of time celebrating. We can celebrate later. Let's see what else. Has there ever been 1,000 millimeters of rain? Yes, there have. Some typhoons have delivered over 1,000 millimeters of rain. It's going to be red everywhere. I mean, it could increase, well, I mean, in this thing it's showing red everywhere, but in terms of this area, let's see, what is the red category again? Let me look on my scale. Red category is over 300 millimeters rain. So yeah, it does already include a large portion of the Philippines there, Luzon. Maybe expanded north and southwards due to those high rainfall totals. Yes, estimated rainfall of 6 months in 1 day. Yes. It's insane just how much rainfall is expected to fall from the system. That has to do with its massive size. Small impacts for Hong Kong, right? Yeah, only marginal impacts from the system at most right now is expected for you there. So Hong Kong really only expect minor tropical impacts with brief periods of gusty winds and some rain. A few branches may come down and minor street flooding is possible. Nothing too bad for you there. You can keep coming back for updates though. Let's see what else here. If it does move really to the south, signals are expected to be signal 4 to 5. Yes, signals are going to be 4 to 5 either way, wherever it makes landfall. Signal 4 to 5 warnings in effect in that landfall location. Yeah, there's so many areas expected to see above 200 millimeters of rain. Whoops. Sorry, guys, the live chat's going to be glitching out a bit. Oh, man, okay, sorry. I'm trying to get to all those messages. Oh man, okay, no. I've lost the message. There's so many chat messages. Oh man, okay, I gotta find. I'm trying to catch up to it. Is Metro Manila going to be experiencing strong winds? Yes, moderate impacts. There's Iloilo City moderate. I don't know where that is. How much rainfall there? I don't. Okay, let me see. Okay. Yes, guys, if you can answer the questions for me, that'd be great as well. You can use this graphic and help point people in the right direction. Yes, so in Manila you will be seeing impacts. It's not moving. Okay, Bulacan. Thank you, Bulacan. Thank you for the pronunciation correction. Is there a high pressure ridge to the north of Taiwan, and if so, is that the reason it's moving more to the south? Yes, that's the reason it's moving more westwards. Is going to be this ridge right over here by Taiwan and by southern China and Hong Kong, keeping it to the south, as well as a ridge to the northeast. It cannot escape to the northeast. Normally this trough would try to drag it to the north, but nope, it says it's leaving. It's going to be building a ridge there, so forcing it to keep going west. And then if we look at, for example, Not that. I meant to do this right here. Continues moving more to the west there, and then it sees a gap to the north, and then that's how it escapes. All right. Sayula did a loop. How? And it has to be with ridges and things like that, steering currents. What will happen if Uwan continues its southward trajectory? Well, the cone will be continue to shift more and more to the south. Oh, yeah, I did want to mention it no longer includes Metro Manila in the forecast cone. So 2/3 of the time it will be staying inside this cone. Yeah, the cone has shrunk now down to this in this black line where the center will go, but still moderate impacts are expected for Metro Manila. If it shifts more to the south, they will be seeing major impacts. But right now they're only expected that not. I don't want to use the word only, but they are expected to see moderate impacts. Again, it could be worse. It could be better. We'll see based on the trends. But right now, currently expected to see moderate impacts. Is Rizal going to be seeing signal 3 to 4 warnings? I'd say so. Yeah, I'd say signal 2 to 4 warnings. I'd be expecting there. Pause. You don't have to send the same message multiple times. Okay. Okay, guys, please don't send the same question multiple times. Oh my god. Um, and guys, if you haven't already, please consider liking the stream. It really helps a lot. Well, we're already at 5,010 subscribers. Thank you all so much. Again, halfway to 10,000. Man, okay, 1/20th of the way to be reaching 100,000 subscribers. That's just insane. Anyways, this one guy asked the same question like 10 times in the chat. Man, okay. Uh, I'm getting to it. Okay. As a native Floridian, is this typhoon as bad as Hurricane Andrew in Florida years ago? It's going to be a little bit less than Andrew was at landfall there. Possibility of catastrophic impacts, so possibility of impacts like Andrew was in Florida. Is Uwan moving more to the south? The trends have shifted a little bit more to the south on the other model runs, but they're shifting closer to the Google AI model runs in my model or my forecast. So it's my forecast has stayed consistent right now, and it making landfall somewhere in northern Aurora, anywhere from Isabela and far northern Quezon. Really could be seeing a landfall from this system. Yes, Uwan is almost as big as Typhoon Tip. Yeah, and I've seen people mentioning, I think I see some wispy clouds. If you're seeing wispy clouds in the air, that's going to be from, or in the sky, that's going to be from this typhoon. So, if you want to, you all in the chat can just briefly go look outside, look out your window, see if you can see some clouds. If you do, that is from this system, okay? That is from this typhoon. Look at the size of it, look at its outflow. As systems continue to intensify, they have their counterclockwise circulation, but in the upper levels, in those higher clouds, it's clockwise motion. So that's why you're seeing all the outflow like this, funneling out of the system. So yeah, that's why you're getting those wispy clouds. It shows you the typhoon's approaching. What's the threat level if the typhoon hits the SR region? With the Sierra, well, in terms of the CAR, they are expected to see moderate impacts. But if it hits it directly, they'd be seeing major impacts from the system. But currently expected to see moderate impacts, so things like damaging winds may be snapping trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Yes, I am going to be animating the 2025 North Atlantic hurricane season. I'm already animating that now. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel as I am going to be and watch the animation on Hurricane Melissa. That will be releasing a Sunday night for you all in the Philippines if you're interested in that. Those who are in Jamaica, that will be releasing a Sunday morning/Sunday afternoon. So around Sunday noon Eastern Standard Time. I think it's actually, Sunday at... trying to think about time zones. Yeah, Sunday at noon for you all there. Good morning. Yes, good morning to those all in the Philippines. Hope you are doing well. I mean, as well as you can be. Okay, yes. Seeing people mentioning, yeah, bigger storm, stronger storm. Yeah, again, there's trade-offs. Just looking at more things. How far out from the eye do the typhoon force winds extend in miles? Let's look at the Joint Typhoon Warning Center for that. They've most likely done some stuff about, or some analysis here. We can pull that up. I believe it's going to be the text. See, so typhoon force winds extend up to 80 nautical miles in the northeastern quadrant. So that's nautical miles, maybe up to 90 miles to the northeast as of right now. Oops, okay. So again, those winds extend quite a large amount away from the center. Oh, guys, and in terms of how XP works, I've learned this more and about the XP in the chat. Donating, like sending in stream donations, that kind of stuff, instantly like bumps up your XP a dramatic amount for some reason. Okay, like if you chat a lot, it gives you like a decent or like a small amount, but donations like shoot it up for whatever reason. But yeah. I had a black one for over 400 millimeters or more. Well, in terms of rainfall there on my scale, over 600 millimeters or more is mainly in that pink color for extreme or catastrophic impacts. So there we go. I'm seeing your guys' countdown there from subscribers. Yes, now I'm catching up. How much rainfall in Aurora? Seems like over 400 millimeters of rain, so they are in the major to potentially catastrophic impacts there. So they're expected to see this section right here, and they could see the bottom one there. So those in Aurora are expected to see major impacts, so severe winds can cause large-scale structural damage and long-lasting power and communication outages, life-threatening flooding in vulnerable areas, and potentially seeing catastrophic impacts. So potentially seeing catastrophic winds that could destroy buildings and severely impact infrastructure for weeks or longer. Flooding may be unsurvivable. A recovery could take months. Yes, result could be seeing signal 3 or 4 warnings. I'd say signal 2 to 4 is what I'm expecting. Yes, I'm catching up to the chat there. Yes, thank you guys. I see all the celebrating. Thank you all so much for 5,000 subscribers. I really we're already hit 5,013, guys. Thank you all so much for all the support. Was not expecting to wake up today and reach that. Thank you all so much. Again, I also do our animations on YouTube. If you want to see other storms like Pepito's animation, you can search up the track of Typhoon Manyi and Pepito, and then you could see my animation on it and my analysis. I do storms like this, so if you've seen storms like Kome, Emong, those storms, even storms like, oh, well, I was going to say Kalmaegi, but I haven't animated that just yet. I'm planning to animate that probably by next week. I may be animating this storm instead, though. I'll do a poll to discuss what animation you'd like to see. But yeah, I do animations on YouTube, so you can give those a watch. I've animated the last year's typhoon season. If you want to see all those storms, you can always check that out. It's halfway till 10K. Yeah, stuff like this in Pagasa's post really worry me. The rain doesn't scare me usually, but it's the strong winds making the noise. Yeah, wind and rain is going to be the biggest concern and surge along the coast. Did want to briefly mention, guys, if you haven't already, please consider following me on another social media platform. If you use Twitter or X, you can follow me at @hurricane_chase. I post there the most. I do want to ask you all, if you have Instagram, please follow me on @hurricanechaserchase. Really helps me and helps you stay up to date there, especially if you use Instagram. If you use Facebook or Blue Sky, if you prefer that social media platform, you can follow me there at Cyclone Tracking. If you use Discord and you like tracking tropical cyclones and staying up to date on that, you can join discord.gg/chasesstorm. That's the link there. That's minus one subscriber away from minus one subscriber away from 5,000. Yeah, I see. Minus 13 now. What's it at now? Minus 18. Yeah, thank you guys so much for all the support. Minus 18 subscribers away from 5K. Woohoo! Yeah, thank you. Um, no, thank you for what you do, of course. Yes, guys, thank you so much. Okay, if you're liking this content, I really love the kind words. Okay, it really keeps me going. Okay, this takes hours of my day to do this kind of live content and kind of keep you guys up to date. So any kind words is always greatly appreciated. So thank you so much, Rubes and Aki. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Gaming with Triple H and Typhoon Lover, all those people celebrating Talkhan, all those somebody. Everybody there. Richie, thank you all so much. Richie has been supporting me for a while now, seeing all my streams, even those streams that don't get much attention. Richie's always been there. Typhoon Lover as well, pretty much. So thank you all so much for the support. Gaming with Triple H, you have been here for a long time. You've been here last year through last year's Typhoon. I remember you. Oops. Okay. Oh no. Trying to stay up to date on the chat. Uh-oh. Okay. I have to scroll up here. There we go. Okay. I am catching up to the live chat now. Fortunately. Okay. It's 990 away, yeah, guys. We're now 980 away from 6K. Can you believe it, man? Okay. The countdown's there. Okay. Can I actually reach 6,000 by mid-December? I don't know. Someone in the chat, it might have been Richie, saying, "Oh, you should aim for 5,000 by the end of the year." I'm like, "There's no way I'm gonna reach that. I'm not even at 4,000 yet." And then here we are. We still got another 2 months of the year to go. Hold on, how many days left until January 1st? It could be possible. Okay, how many days until January 1st? 55 days, and we're now 980. Divided by 55. That'd be 17 subscribers a day. You know what? We might actually hit 6,000 by the end of the year. Okay, I'm not gonna rule that out. Okay, I can't rule that out. Man, you mentioning that, Aiden, you can come back to me then and seeing if I will reach that. Will it slow down? In terms of forward speed, it won't be really slowing down until it might slow down a little bit before slamming in the Philippines, but it really doesn't slow down until after it hits the Philippines. It will be stalling in the south, trying to see for over 24 hours before it finally starts leaving the Philippines. So again, heavy rainfall is going to be continuing throughout the Philippines even after it exits the Philippines. Let's see, I just tuned in, Sir Chase. I just want to ask, estimated max winds for the Super Typhoon from Benguet, by the way. A lot of us are worried. Maximum winds right now are around 100 miles an hour sustained, 1 minute sustained. So Category 2 could get up to Category 5. So Super Typhoon is possible with this. Is Bulan going to get a lot of rains and things like that? Okay, let me look at Sorsogon. I know where that is. Okay, Sorsogon is going to be in the southern Bicol region. In terms of impacts there, you are expected to see slight to moderate impacts. So, your specific city that you mentioned there, I'll search that up. Bulan, my bad. Yeah, Bulan. See, is it this region? Yes, okay, you are expected to see slight impacts. So in terms of what you could be getting from the system, noticeable storm conditions with gusts capable of knocking down tree limbs and causing power outages. Localized flooding may affect low spots. That's what you're expected to get. Again, if it moves more to the south, you could be getting more moderate impacts from the system, but currently expected to see slight impacts. My question is, would it be more catastrophic as Vamco did in 2020, or either Usagi just did last year because it might be a Cat 4 reaching the Philippines? It could be. I think it's going to be worse than Usagi was. Usagi was a pinhole storm. Wasn't really much damage at all at landfall, I don't think, with that storm. So I believe that this one, because it's such a larger storm, a lot more rainfall is going to be falling from this. Did Uwan do a loop? Nope. Yes, result could be seeing signal 3 to 4 warnings if it moves more to the south. How about Quezon City? Impacts in Quezon City are in that moderate category. If we pull up the impacts for Quezon City, they are expecting damaging winds, which may be snapping trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. If it moves more to the south, they could be seeing the major impacts, okay? But right now, they are expected to see moderate impacts in Quezon City. See, I left the UK for a village near Santiago 7 years ago. I have a backup generator, and locals know they are welcome to charge their devices for free of charge in my home. That's great. I guess I did want to mention, if you're from the Philippines and you're in Luzon, please consider following me on Instagram. I'd love to reach out to you all just to kind of, because I do plan to visit the Philippines on a typhoon chase. I'd love to get to know some of you all if you're from the Philippines. So be sure to follow me on @HurricaneChasersChase so then I can reach out to you all. And if you use Instagram, though, as your social media platform, just follow me there. If you're from the Philippines, you can always send me send a message there. Send me a message, say like, oh, hi, I'm from the Philippines, whatever, that kind of stuff. If you've been watching the stream for a while, especially. I'm expecting it to impact Japan as at least a tropical storm. They haven't had one this year. They have had one tropical storm curve just off the coast of Japan. But in terms of impacts, yeah, marginal impacts for the Sakishima Islands and the Ryukyu Islands are expected. Yeah, Ling Ling, I guess. Yeah, okay. Let's see. 5.1K by the end of the. You know what? That's possible. 77 more subscribers away from 5.1 thousand, and I'm going to be doing the stream now for another hour or so. So yeah, we could definitely hit that. Okay, guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel a lot. Let's see. Thank you. Okay. Very wispy. Seeing wispy clouds. Yeah, if you're in the Philippines right now, check out your window. See if you're seeing any wispy clouds. The system, if you're seeing wispy clouds in the sky, that is from Typhoon Uwan. Okay, so that's from this typhoon. So again, if you just look outside and you're seeing clouds that are very high up. And looking very wispy like a fan, very not like dark, and not completely dark, but just maybe parts of Manila, though, it may be a little bit more darker there. But just higher clouds. Not low clouds, but higher clouds. That is from this typhoon and its outflow. Is Uwan going to be having a Deathband? Well, in terms of the model runs, I haven't really been seeing it pop up too much. If we see the most recent one, not really. This one kind of has a Deathband impacting portions of. Let's see, but not really though. It's not a full-on. I'm not seeing it too severely on this. Maybe. This right here could be a Deathband, and what we mean by Deathband is things like Kalmaegi here. As this storm rolled through right before it made landfall, it had what we like to call a Deathband, because look at that band right before it slams in the Philippines. It lashes it with heavy rainfall, flash flooding, and then the core of it moves over right after. So that's what we mean by a Deathband, and unfortunately over 100 people lost their lives in the Visayas region from the typhoon. So the question is, will this storm have that? It's a little bit hard to tell because it looks like the band never curves fully around in towards Aurora. Still, though, the core will be slamming into Aurora. There is such a powerful typhoon, such a large eye, major to catastrophic impacts regardless. Yes, I will also be animating Uwan. Here, I'm just going to make sure I'm pronouncing that right real quick. Uwan. Uwan, yeah. Uwan. Alright, let's see what else. Is this going to be high-end 2.0? Not the same area, not the same intensity. See what else here. Oh, Manila's 1 a.m. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, Reggie. Oh, right, yeah, because okay, yeah, I was getting that wrong. Okay, thank you so much for mentioning that. Yeah, so it's going to be 1 a.m. on Monday for you all in the Philippines if you want to see. That's the animation of Melissa. See, some say it might be as strong as main cut, but for me, it's as strong as Usagi just last year. Yinzing. Yeah, I think those two storms. Yinzing. Okay, I probably butchered that. My apologies. Uwan. Yep. I'm from the Philippines right now and worries me. Yes, understandable. This is going to be potentially major to catastrophic impacts in portions of the Philippines wherever it makes that landfall. Category 5 no longer expected, but the Google AI Ensemble members are showing around a 74%, was it? Yeah, 74% chance or so of it becoming a Category 5. I have it peaking out with winds of 135 knots just below Category 5 intensity, still a super typhoon. The winds aren't going to be the only threat with the system, though. How much rainfall in Quezon? Well, Quezon is still expected to see. Let's see. Let's look at that over the next few days. Quezon tomorrow is expected to see 100 to 200 millimeters rain, and the next day 100 to 200. So 200 to 400 millimeters rain is forecasted for Quezon. Quezon is in that moderate category there, with the coast of southern Quezon or northern okay, northeastern Quezon in that major category for the storm surge threat. Mainly the entire coast, I'd say, will be seeing major impacts in the form of storm surge. Will it dissipate before reaching Taiwan? It could. It totally could dissipate before that landfall in Taiwan. And it could be a typhoon. So it's a little bit uncertain. What is its structure going to look like after it hits the Philippines? We're not quite sure just yet. See any update from Pagasa? I'll check if there's any new forecast, anything like that from Pagasa, and we'll pull that up if there is. Yes, there is. There is a new update on it. I'll be let me just comment on it right now. Alright, so yes, their new forecast cone has just been released, and I will open that up now. So let's compare the two, okay? This one was the earlier one, this is the new one. So they aren't forecasting a super typhoon until landfall. They still are forecasting a super typhoon landfall for the system. It hasn't really shifted too much at all. I'd say it still makes landfall in around central Aurora, central or northern Aurora. Cone is really anywhere from Isabela all the way down to the Catanduanes. It does move over Taiwan there as a weaker system. They are forecasting it to weaken more in the South China Sea. And then now let's open up the latest signal warnings in effect for the system. Yes, this is the latest update from Pagasa. So the difference is now, let me just see if there's any other areas here added in a Signal 1 warning. The Batanes Islands have now been added in a Signal 1 warning, and the Kuo Islands are now under Signal 1. Looks like more portions of Visayas are now under Signal 1 warning. In terms of Signal 2 warnings include northern portions of eastern Samar, northern portions of Samar, the entirety of northern Samar, Sorsogon, as well as Albay, eastern Camarines Sur, and the Catanduanes are under Signal 2 warning. Again, these are going to be expanded further and further so something like this potentially over the coming days, maybe even a little bit more to the south. Signal 2 warnings, and then Signal 3 warnings, and 4 and 5 will likely be issued over the coming days, or over the coming day or so. Alright, let's answer some more questions. Signal 5, I would not be expecting at all for Rizal. What's the rainfall forecast tomorrow at Naga City and at Cameron's Sewer? Let's pull up Naga City. I believe this is what you mean. Yeah, in terms of rainfall, okay. Well, let's talk about impact timing. It's really expected to be the worst on tomorrow and Monday. In terms of rainfall totals for you in Naga. Oh, wait, sorry, that's wind here. Let's talk about rainfall totals. German runs 100 millimeters, American runs 110, and the Europeans at 170. Those are the forecasted. Let's see, okay. All right. So yes, that's the forecasted rainfall totals, up to 200 millimeters of rain, I'd say. There. In terms of impacts for you there, you are expected to see around, I'd say slight to moderate impacts. Slight impacts is forecasted for you there right now. So things like noticeable storm conditions with gusts capable of knocking down tree limbs and causing power outages. Localized flooding may affect low spots. Yet increased in strength despite the size. Yes, it will be strengthening. It will be strengthening over the next 36 hours or so, maybe the next 24 hours. The large size is just preventing it from intensifying as quickly as it could. What signal warning could Pangasinan get? Up to signal 4 warning, I'd say, is possible there. The more northeast you are in Pangasinan, the higher the signal warning you could get, is what I'd say. What's your estimation for Fung-wong, Uwan? Okay. So in terms of peak intensity, or I am expecting a peak intensity of 155 miles an hour, Category 4 Super Typhoon. Currently, it's Category 200 mile an hour winds right now. That's my estimation on it. Yeah, Metro Manila could be seeing signal 2 to 4 warnings. I would not rule that out at all. Rizal is not going to be seeing signal 5 warnings. I'm pretty confident about that. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to scroll up now to the questions. Whoops. Oh man, okay. Sorry guys, I'm trying to catch up to the questions. Wow, there's so many. Okay. There we go. Okay, now okay. I'm still quite far behind. Apologies guys. I am trying to catch up. A little bit behind. Oh well, 5,025 subscribers. Thank you all so much for the support. We're now down to 75 away from 5.1 thousand. We're getting closer and closer. Thank you all so much for the support. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, if you're new. So now Claudia, Rizal can get signal 2 to 4 warnings as well. Yes. Thank you for doing this live. Of course. A subscribe really helps out a lot. Yes, don't panic, just prepare, it's okay. Do you think the impact in Nueva Ecija could be upgraded to extreme level? Maybe portions of southeastern Nueva Ecija could be upgraded to the possibility of catastrophic impacts just because it could be rolling through as a super typhoon. If it goes on the more on the southern end, so if it plows through like right over, let's see, where is it? Is it right over? Is it really down there that far? Okay. It'd have to go through this region on the forecast there. Otherwise, no. I really don't think so. Major impacts, though, I'd say would be possible. Moves more south. Let's collab soon, Zenith. Yeah, Zenith, you can always add me on Instagram or on Discord, and then you can talk to me about that. Yeah, 7,000 subscribers by next year. Oh yeah, definitely. Should easily reach that. Thank you all so much for the support again. We have no classes on Monday or Tuesday in your location. Yeah, that makes sense with this system. How much rainfall in Mindoro? In terms of rainfall totals across Mindoro, let's pull up the latest forecast there. 50 to 100 millimeters of rain, and then up to another 50 to 200 millimeters of rain. So 100 to 300 millimeters of rain is going to be possible for portions of Mindoro over on Sunday and Monday. So again, slight to moderate impacts is expected for Mindoro. Is it going to hit the Katanawanas? Well, in terms of the forecast cone, it could hit the northern portions of the Katanawanas. I'm expecting it to miss it, though. It's going to go to the north, still delivering, looks like, around major impacts, moderate to major impacts for the Katanawanas. So really, even though it's not going to be a direct hit, there's still going to be moderate to major impacts there. What's the impact in Marin, Marindique City? In terms of impacts there, you are expected to see marginal impacts, okay? So you're mostly going to be fine with this system. In terms of impacts, expect minor tropical impacts with brief periods of gusty winds and some rain. A few branches may come down, and minor street flooding is possible. That's what is expected for you there. What wind signal is Kaban? Sorry, I'll search it up. Signal warning, there's signal 1, I believe. Yep, but in terms of impacts that you could get there, let me look at that again. Looks like you're in the major category. Is that right? Major, moderate? Moderate category, it looks like. So you in that city could be seeing damaging winds, maybe snapping trees and tearing weaker roofs. Flooding of small neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Yes, Usagi's Eye is like Wilma, yeah. Very, very pinhole storm, but this storm is different. It's the opposite. Yeah, I'm basically late by a couple minutes, okay? For me, say, I don't know. One of you guys just type in the chat like something like 10:36, and then I'll come back to that, okay, when I finally reach that. You remember watching me for Man Yi last year? Yeah, thank you, Noah. Stronger than Raleigh? Not yet. What's the rainfall forecast for Abra? In terms of Abra, I'd say, let's look at the forecast here. 50 to 100 millimeters rain tomorrow, and 200 plus millimeters rain the next day. Say over 250 millimeters of rain is being forecasted for you. That could be conservative. Guys, I'm not ignoring your chats. I am just catching up through the messages. Hey guys, it's just that there's so many chat messages that I'm trying to catch up. I don't want to skip a message, okay? That's my mentality of it. Is Aurora going to be seeing a landfall tomorrow? Most likely tomorrow night into Monday morning. Peter says, I'm at my balcony. Are you seeing any wispy clouds from the system? So you say it's very windy. I could reach 6,000 by the end, by December, yeah, potentially. We'll see. We're now at 5,027 subscribers. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. How much rainfall in Damarnus? I'll search up that area. Do not see it on here, unfortunately. Looking at my map, not seeing it on there either. Chase, can you please check the high-res 0.5 kilometer satellite imagery? Sure. Let's look at the mesosector imagery. See if there's anything new we can spot there. We also do have Invest 96S, which there's another disturbance down here. See, this guy right here could nearly be a tropical cyclone, potentially, right over here. This one's looking pretty interesting. Anyways, let's go back to the mesosector imagery. Please work. There it is. Yeah, look at the system there. Continuing to try to clear out an eye. It's struggling, though. It's such a large eye. Not really seeing much of a solid core yet. Okay, so it's taking its time. We can then look at visible imagery as well. That's what I think you meant, yeah. Look at that eye there. Clearing out more and more. It's calm in that eye, but it's a bit cloudy. And we're having those kind of clouds in your location? Yep. What is a deathband, and can you explain it? A deathband is pretty much when a system has a band that whips through a region before the core of it does. Things like Haiyan have had that. Storms like Kalmaegi has had that. Like this, that the band whips through the region before the actual core rolls through. Storms like this one right now doesn't really have much of one just yet. Okay, it's more to the southwest, and that's not where the storm's actually going yet. It's more, if it was more to the north or northwest of it, then that'd be more of a death band. And it depends on how long it sustains it. Does it hold it? That kind of stuff. These death bands though can cause over 100 fatalities, as we've seen with Kalmaegi. Okay. Yes, Google DeepMind is showing a Cat 3 on Landfall. That's due to the fact that data on here isn't, or like it can be misinterpreted pretty easily. It's a consensus here, showing a consensus of all the models here, including the ones that are already on land. So if you subtract the ones that are already on land, this would be a Category 4 at landfall. Reside in southern Isabella. We will be on the Typhoon Eye. Could be, maybe not. It all depends on where that core goes. Again, is it going to go more to your north, more to your south? We'll know a lot more by tomorrow. By tomorrow's update. Again, I'll be doing more updates, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Helps keep you up to date. We are now down to 3 away from 5.03K. Is intense rainfall possible while not in the eye wall? Yeah, of course. Even if you're not in the main center or main eye wall, you could be still seeing intense rainfall. Some of those outer bands and inner bands. Is the sea warm? Yes, very warm for the system to rapidly intensify. Waters are around at 29 Celsius at the lowest, with them around 31 degrees Celsius at the highest. So again, very warm for the system to rapidly intensify. It's just it's too large for its own good. Well, what about Cavite? In terms of impacts for you in Cavite, you are expected to see slight impacts, let's say. Slight impacts for Cavite. So in terms of impacts, you're going to be seeing noticeable storm conditions with gusts capable of knocking down tree limbs and causing power outages. Localized flooding may affect low-lying spots. Will the signals get increased as it moves closer? Oh, definitely. We're going to be seeing signal forewarnings issued, guaranteed, for this system. Question is, where and when will those signal forewarnings be issued? Should we be worried in Cebu? In terms of impacts in Cebu, let me pull that up on here. Cebu is only expected to see marginal impacts from the system. So nothing really big at all. So looking at the impacts graphic, expect minor tropical impacts with brief periods of gusty winds and some rain. A few branches may come down and minor street flooding is possible. So nothing too bad really at all. Update rainfall in Pagasa. Okay, do they have a new rainfall update? I'll check. Here, I'm trying to refresh their page. And we'll take a look at their rainfall forecast. If they have released it. Nope, I don't see a new rainfall forecast just yet. They do mention that the most likely signal will be hoisted as a signal 5 warning. Okay. I'm just checking out what their live stream's like right now. Okay. Interesting graphics. It's pretty cool. Anyways, I still like these kind of graphics that I'm showing here. What causes it to move more south? It's the ridge or high pressure, yes, near Taiwan and China and Hong Kong. Can Baguio City be an eye on Monday early morning? Let me just check again. Yeah, it could be moving over Benguet's there. The system's core may be moving directly over Benguet's, so it could still have an eye by then. We'll see. Rainfall in Baylor, Aurora. So in terms of Aurora, you are expected to see over 400 millimeters of rain, at least 400 millimeters of rain. Major impacts, potentially catastrophic impacts in that region. Hi, Mammerds. Any luck Fung-wong will dissipate? Not before landfall, okay? Not even within the next 5 days, really, is when it's expected to dissipate. It's only expected to dissipate on at least on the Google AI and Zommel members. Let me pull this up again. Let me see when it's forecasted to now. Even 6 days from now, it will still be a remnant low. So really, it's not going to dissipate for a while. Unfortunately, okay, we'll get closer and closer to that dissipation over the next coming days, but no, it's going to be making landfall as at least a typhoon. Not going to get lucked out on this. Whoops, okay. Okay, sorry guys, I'm scrolling up. Okay, I'm slowly catching up. Is it possible to reach winds of 200 kilometers an hour or more? Yes. How much rainfall in Ilocos Norte? Seems to be around 250 millimeters of rain or more, and that's a conservative forecast. Northern Samar, their wind signal is currently a signal 2. I believe, yeah, signal 2 warning for the entirety of Northern Samar. How strong is Uwan going to be over Zambales? It's uncertain if it's going to be going over there or not. That may be a little bit more to the south of forecast. I'm not quite sure if it's going to directly go over Zambales. But the impacts there, moderate impacts are expected, so damaging winds may be snapping trees and tearing weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. What are the chances it moves more to the south? I can't really say percent chances as to if it's going to move more to the south, more to the north. It's a bit... It all depends. You know, things trend whatever way they want to. How about Metro Manila? Metro Manila is expected to see moderate impacts. So again, in Metro Manila, damaging winds may be snapping trees and tearing weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. What could be the sustained winds that could be felt on the northeastern side of Metro Manila? I think it could be 90 to 100 kilometers an hour. Sustained winds, I'd say up to 120 kilometer an hour winds or more could be possible. 1 minute sustained winds. How's the crocodiling Philippines? Let me try and search that area up if I can. Is this it? Maybe, I don't know, if that's the southern Philippines, they're not experiencing any impacts. How much rainfall for the Batangas area? That is expected. Oh, wait, where is that? Whoops. I need to find out where that is. Rainfall totals there. Oh, Batang. Okay, that's a province there. Okay. My bad. In terms of rainfall totals there, 50 to 100 millimeters rain tomorrow, with an additional 100 to 200 millimeters rain the next day. So 150 to 250 millimeters rain is going to be possible for you there. Oh, whoa, I got a donation. Thank you so much for the donation there. I really appreciate it. Hold on. Here, I'll try to pull it up on my phone here. Hey guys, thank you so much. Okay, I really appreciate the donations. You don't have to give if you don't want to, especially if you're in the Philippines or in the main impact zone. But if you can, it's much appreciated, okay? I do really appreciate it. Let me look at the message there. Thanks for covering in the Philippines. Wait, Isabella D, are you the one who's done it before? I swear, you have been here before. Thank you so much for the support. You were my first ever donation, I swear. This was last year during, it might have been Usagi, one of those storms. You might have been the first donation I've ever gotten. I don't know if you remember that. So I swear, I think I remember you. So yeah, thank you so much for another donation. Again, guys, it really helps out a lot. But again, I don't ask that for you if you're going to get impacts from this, because you're going to experience it worse than me. Okay, so you need it more than I do. It does help me get the word out to more people, though, and I really do appreciate it. So, you guys, everyone, thank Isabella D in the chat. Okay, thank them so much. Yes, Isabella D, you were the first donation here. I've gotten more donations since, okay, but I really appreciate it though. The first donation. Thank you so much. Let's see, how much rainfall in Marindique? In terms of rainfall there, or sorry, about impacts there. If we take a look at the map here, only marginal impacts. So really, nothing too bad. Expect minor tropical impacts with brief periods of gusty winds and some rain. A few branches may come down and minor street flooding is possible. And Isabella D, I did want to say though, if you're still watching, please follow me on Instagram and reach out to me at Hurricane Chaser Chase. Just send me a message. I'd really appreciate it. I'd love to talk to the people who have donated there, and just potentially just getting to know someone there from the Philippines would be amazing. Legazpa City, measure of rainfall. I'll try to look at that area up. Let's see, impacts there. They are expected to see, they are in the Bicol region, and they are along the coast there. So they are expected to see moderate impacts from the surge. You asked about rainfall totals, and that was in Albay, I believe. Albay could be seeing, starting tomorrow, rainfall totals of 200 millimeters of rain or more. So it seems like over 200 millimeters of rain. That could be conservative. Let's answer more of these questions. See, does Uwan starting to rapidly intensify now? Let's discuss if it's rapidly intensifying or not. So in its current intensity, if we go to that, let's see, current intensity was 90 miles an hour as of 7 p.m. and then the previous one was 65. That's around a 25 mile an hour increase, so that's not rapid intensification. Though over the next 24 hours, it's expected to increase over 40 miles an hour. That's 35 knot increase. So yeah, rapid intensification is forecasted. It could be rapidly intensifying right now. Yes, please add overlays in the Philippines. Yes, I am going to be adding more about the provinces in the Philippines. That will be very helpful. When is the wind supposed to hit your area? And Rizal, we can pull that up. Rizal is over here. Let's do like or not Santa Cruz. Santa Ynez, for example. Impacts will be happening in Rizal as early as tomorrow morning. So get those preparations completed by tonight, tomorrow morning at the latest. Marinduque. Marinduque? Okay. Marinduque. Thank you. My house is just made of wood. I'm afraid might get hit by a tree. Yeah, consider moving to someone else's structure that's more sturdy. That's what I would recommend. Overlay the storm. I don't really do size comparisons, but yeah, we can look at the satellite imagery here. Just how massive the storm is compared to the Philippines. Here in Cebu, currently cloudy, yes, and that's from this system. Again, if you guys want to check outside, it's most likely cloudy for you, and if it is, that is from this typhoon. That just goes to show how massive the storm is. Camarines sewer impacts there. You are expected to see moderate or slight impacts in Naga, so noticeable storm conditions with gusts capable of knocking down tree limbs, causing power outages. Localized flooding may affect low spots. What wind signal are we in Mindoro? I believe signal 1. A signal 1 warnings there. That will likely be upgraded, potentially to signal 2 warnings, especially in the northern portions. But you are expected to see slight to moderate impacts, is what I'm forecasting. Could dry air invade the core? Let's pull up the latest imagery on here. If we take a look at the model run, at least on it, will dry air penetrate the core? Not recently. It isn't really going to be until after it hits the Philippines that maybe it tries to intrude. You can see a little bit of an opening here. It's very solid on every other side except for the eastern sides. There may be some dry air getting sucked into the storm. If it does, that's going to be choking it. And then a dry air due to some wind shear there. It gets tilted. Here's the mid-level center. Here's the low-level center, and then the dry air just punching the system. Yes, deathbands are like L and C shaped, yes. Is Uwan a category 2 or 1? I have it as a category 2 right now. Low and cat 2. What's more windy, inner or outer bands? It all depends on what's the stronger band. Most likely, though, it's going to be inner bands. Yes, there's so many areas under signal 1, yes. Cavite, what signal will they raise to? Probably signal 3 or 4 warnings is what I'd be expecting. Maybe signal 2 to 4 is what I more likely thing for you there. Guys, I am catching up. Impacts in Rizal, again, you are expected to see, looks like moderate impacts. After, what is the possibility for an impact in Camarines sewer? In terms of impacts for Camarines sewer, you are expected to see anywhere from slight to major impacts, okay, depending on where you are located. The closer you are to the coast, the more likely you're going to be seeing major impacts, mainly in the form of surge. Life-threatening flooding in vulnerable areas to surge is expected there. In terms of the wind impacts, damaging winds may be snapping trees and tearing weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Portions of southern Camarines sewer. Noticeable storm conditions with gusts capable of knocking down tree limbs and causing power outages. Localized flooding may affect low spots. Tropical cyclone heat potential, not really a concern for this system. I wouldn't be paying attention about that. It's moving at a quick pace. So the cone of uncertainty means only the typhoon force winds can get at those areas? No. The cone of uncertainty means the center of the cone. Where could the center go? This will be 150 miles an hour at max? Maybe, yeah. It could be stronger though. I'm forecasting 155. Will Quezon province be hit hard too in the terms of winds? Quezon, yes. Winds, they are expected to see moderate impacts in the form of wind, so typhoon force winds are expected there. Finally got to your message there. Sorry about that. I like to treat them all equally. They're catching up to the chat messages. Is it possible for Uwan to slightly further intensify than the forecast intensity after it undergoes rapid intensification? Yes, it could intensify even stronger than just a minimal category. Just a minimal category 4 or just a high-end category 4. It could become a category 5 super typhoon. Oh, thank you for another donation, Isabella D. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay. Um. Oh, okay. He's asking if Bulacan will be affected. Yes, they are expected to see moderate impacts in Bulacan. You are expected to see moderate impacts. Okay, so in terms of impacts in Bulacan, damaging winds may be snapping trees and tearing weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Hello, everyone. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It really helps out a lot. Yes, I have shown the rainfall totals. You're so patient. Filipinos have a way of asking an already answered question. That's all great. I do follow you next, though. Not Insta because I don't have Instagram. Well, Isabella D, can you send me a message, like a private message through Twitter? Just say, hi, I'm Isabella D, or whatever. I have my messages open, so you can always send me a message there. Guys, give Isabella D a huge thanks there. They were my first ever donation, like around a year ago. Where we're nearing the year ago mark. That's crazy. And I cannot believe I'm getting to talk to you again. I thought you were long gone, unfortunately, a long time ago. So I really do appreciate the donations. Okay, we can talk about the rainfall totals. In terms of rainfall totals, what are the highest rainfall totals being forecasted? German Run is showing rainfall totals of up to 500 millimeters of rain, mainly in northwestern Pangasinan. American Run is showing rainfall totals of up to 300 millimeters of rain. And the European Run is showing rainfall totals of up to 400 millimeters of rain. Impact on Legazpi City. Oh, hold on. Any updates on Pagasa's forecast? I'll refresh the page, see if we can get any new rainfall forecast there. You see, trying to refresh their page. Nope, not seeing any new rainfall forecast. But in terms of that city that you asked, we can search. Okay, Legazpi. Yep, in terms of impacts there, you are expected to see, if I go back here, you are expected to see moderate impacts, mainly in the form of surge. I'd say a mixture of slight and moderate impacts. So, moderate impacts in the form of flooding. Some roads could be impassable. Slight in the form of wind. Noticeable storm conditions with gusts capable of knocking down tree limbs and causing power outages. Is there any shear that will be affecting Fung-wong? Yes, shear is expected to increase before landfall, but it's such a large system that it's not going to really be able to knock it down that much. Congratulations on breaking through 5,000 subscribers. I'm so happy I discovered your channel and updates. I understand your forecast better than Pagasa, even though I'm Filipino. Thank you so much, okay, for those kind words. Again, those kind words are the reason I do it, okay? Just knowing that I inform you all. So really, I really do appreciate it, okay? Thank you so much, Emma. Or Amma. Thanks, Chase, for rainfall totals, of course, Damien. What is the impacts will begin starting in Baguio City, rainfall and wind, so that we are aware. Let's pull that up. Baguio City, up here, I believe. Impacts will be beginning as early as tomorrow night. Get those preparations completed before tomorrow night. That's what I'd recommend. You still have time to prepare. Use that time wisely. Camarines Sur. Camarines Sur. Camarines Sur. Am I pronouncing that right, guys? Just want to verify. Ca Camarines Sur. Camarines Sur. Camarines Sur and Camarines Norte. Camarines Sur, Camarines Norte. What the heck is the light count glitching? I'm seeing the light counts for the... What the heck? It's glitching between 6 and 7. I don't know why. Isabella T's like message, or the donation message, is glitching out between 6 and 7 likes. I don't know what the heck is happening. For me, at least, on my thing. Maybe it's not doing it on my phone. I'll pull it up there. Yeah, I don't know why, but for my thing, it glitched out on 6 or 7 likes. I don't know why. It's a sign. That's okay. Taiwan could have a bad time with those rainfall totals as well. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out as well. Yeah, let's discuss those rainfall totals. Portion of Taiwan. Interesting to see the German run show rainfall totals in the south, trying to see above 1,000 millimeters. Portions of Taiwan up to 400 millimeters rain on the German run. American runs showing rainfall totals of up to 200 millimeters of rain, and the European run is showing rainfall totals of up to 500 millimeters of rain. Major impacts there, potentially catastrophic impacts. May need to add that as a corridor. Camarines Sur. Good job on 5,000. Thank you so much, guys. Pagasa says that Fung-wong will make landfall in Aurora, Southern Isabel tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow night or Monday morning is looking like the landfall timing. How will San Jose be affected? And I'll see it until, let's see. Impacts there. Let's pull that up. Oh no, I don't know where. But anyways, if you're in the western Mindoro, you are expected to see slight impacts from the system, mainly in the form of rainfall. So noticeable storm conditions with gusts capable of knocking down tree limbs and causing power outages, but mainly localized flooding that may affect low-lying areas. How much rainfall in China? Not much. I'd say up to 25 to 100 millimeters of rain there. Same for Hong Kong. Also, Fung-wong has a possible future companion storm in the next week, but the GFS is low confidence on that. Yeah, I haven't marked it as an area of interest just yet. Just currently focusing on Fung-wong. 1,000 millibars is absurd, and thankfully it's over land, or it's over water, so it's affecting the fishes, not affecting humans, actually. 1,000 millimeters rain, can you imagine that? Yeah, some areas have experienced that. How much rainfall in southern Japan? Really only going to be talking about the Ryukyu Islands and Sakishima Islands. Only around 25 to 100 millimeters rain. Sorry, 1,000 would not be only, but 25 to 100 millimeters rain. Not a whole lot. In terms of impacts there, minor street flooding could be possible. Nothing too big there just yet, at least in the 5-day range. And during Seola, Hong Kong got over 1,500 millimeters rain. That's insane. Yeah, that makes sense why that was such a damaging storm. Will Fung-wong re-intensify or re-enter the Philippine area of responsibility? Well, looking at the latest Pagasa forecast, let's see here. Where is it? It is forecast to re-enter the Philippine area of responsibility as it makes landfall in Taiwan. So yes. I am forecasting it too as well. Curves back into it before then exiting again. It exits it again around day 5 or so as a post-tropical cyclone. Likely a frontal system. How about Quezon Province in terms of wind strength? Family base there. In terms of Quezon, wind impacts, looks like they're in the moderate category. So really winds of 120 to 185 kilometers an hour is expected there. Mainly damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. That's what I'm expecting for the sustained winds. Could be stronger than that. And that's 1 minute, by the way. Well, we're at 5,037 subscribers. Thank you all so much. I think we've gained over 100 subscribers this live stream. Thank you all so much for all the support. I really appreciate it. So we are now down to 3 away from 5.04K. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Let's try to reach that. Yes, thank you, Isabella D. Impacts for Lingdan Abra. We can discuss that. Oh, whoops, sorry about that. I don't know where that is, but in terms of Abra's impacts, it does seem like that they're in the major category of impacts. So if you're in Abra, what you should be expecting is severe winds can cause large-scale structural damage and long-lasting power and communication outages, life-threatening flooding in vulnerable areas. How much rainfall in Kalinga? In terms of Kalinga's rainfall totals, we can discuss that on here. Kalinga is expected to get on this day, where'd it go? 50 to 100 millimeters rain tomorrow, and up to over 200 millimeters rain on Monday. So over 250 millimeters rain, that may be conservative. What signal warning is? Rizal is still signal 1. Also, the extratropical storm there, it's pressure, yeah, okay. There's an increasing chance that it will make landfall in the Katanawanas because the track keeps moving further to the south. Let's hope it. I don't know. Let's hope it doesn't. Let's hope it just fizzles out. But yeah, there is a chance that it does make a landfall there. I'm not going to rule that out. Langaden, thank you. Thank you. Okay, that's right. I'm not from the Philippines, so I really appreciate that. So there, in terms of impacts there, yeah, moderate impacts, I'd be saying for you there. So mainly damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Let's see. Impact for Iba and Zambales. See, which region is this it? Yes, that's it. So impacts there looks like they're around central and western Zambales. Looks like they're expected to get moderate impacts from the system. So again, also damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Let's see, impacts for Angeles. Is that a province or a city? I didn't see that as a province. I'll search that area up. Okay, I found it right there. Impacts there, then that's in Pampanga? Pampanga? In terms of impacts, there are moderate impacts as well. So again, damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Can Fung-wong make a landfall in the Katawanas and another landfall in Aurora like Man-Yi did? Yes, it's totally possible. If we look at the Google AI Ensemble members, the ones that make landfall there in the Katanawanas, for example, if we discuss maybe this one, it does have it then making landfall in Aurora there as another major typhoon or super typhoon. So again, that's a possibility. All these do have it making landfall in Aurora as well. So again, it's going to be making landfall most likely in Aurora. 90% chance it does. All right. Pompong. Okay, thank you so much. Pompong? How about Urdante City and Pangasinan? We can talk about those impacts. I don't see it there, but in terms of Pangasinan, it all depends on where you're located at. I think majority of Pangasinan, now I'd say majority of Pangasinan is moderate impacts. So damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Hello, I'm from Russia. Hi from Russia. How are you doing? What are you doing tuning to a stream about the Philippines? What about Backcore in Cavite? Search up that area. I believe that's the area you're talking about. Let's pull it up here. I'd still be saying moderate impacts for you there, I believe. Yeah, moderate impacts. So again, you and there in Cavite, far northern Cavite. Again, damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Pampong, Pampong, huh? Huh? What? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce that. Pam, Pampang, Pampamga, Pampanga. But there's an N in it. I'm confused. Pampanga. Okay, there we go. Pampanga. Thank you. Am I pronouncing that right? Guys, please, when I ask you how to pronounce it, please don't just type it without any dashes. Andrew, please. Yeah, thank you, Andrew. I get what you mean, but like, it's difficult for me to tell when it's spelled the same as what I'm looking at. It's all good. It's all good. But I just find it funny though. People like so many people just type it without any dashes or anything. But Gas is live. I saw they were earlier. Yeah, syllables. Yeah, fillable. Yep. Richie. Okay. Yeah, Noah. Noah. I'll give this to you personally. They could upgrade it to Signal 3 or 4. Signal 3 looks to be the most likely. Signal 2 to 3, potentially Signal 3 or 4. Signal 4 warnings in Benguet tomorrow afternoon. Possible, honestly. Yeah. As it rolls through, Benguet's could be seeing Signal 4. Noah, just letting you know for like a final comments for you there. Yeah, Signal 3 to 4 is possible in Rizal. Okay. Emit packs in Asingan, and at Pangasinan. Ooh, okay, you're in the eastern portion. Still, moderate impacts are expected for you there as the system rolls through as a typhoon. I'd be expecting damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. Cavite? Cavite is generally expected to see slight to moderate impacts, depending on where you're located there. If you're on the far northern portions, expect moderate impacts. If you're throughout the rest, expect slight. So noticeable storm conditions with gusts capable of knocking down tree limbs and causing power outages. Localized flooding may affect low spots. Again, official there. Again, you're expected to see moderate impacts. Damaging winds may snap trees and tear weaker roofs. Flooding of neighborhoods and small rivers are possible, making some roads impassable. And yes, I saw GTA 6 got delayed. Okay, yeah. Alright, now let's. Okay, since I'm going to be wrapping this stream up shortly, I did want to ask you all, how do you like this new graphic that I'm showing you all? Or sorry, this one right here. This graphic, how is it? Is it easy to understand? Just if you could give me a rating out of 10, how would you rate it? Is it informative? Is it and words as well? Just describe if it's informative, if it's helpful to understand it. Is it confusing? Any feedback, any suggestions are helpful. Uh, Much appreciated. 11 out of 100 out of 100. Okay, thank you. Okay, it's much. Thank you guys. Okay, 9.5. Thank you. Okay. This is my first stream. I'm showing this graphics as I just made it today. Thank you, everyone. So again, if you're in the Philippines right now, you're mainly on this category of what you need to be doing. Bringing in all loose outdoor objects, boarding up and reinforcing windows and doors, and those in mainly the Bicol region in eastern Visayas, you need to be staying home or sheltered now, keeping food, water, and first aid close by. Yeah, live landfall coverage, I will be doing that. There's a problem. There's a tree outside your house. Yeah, just make sure that doesn't fall. I guess that's what I don't know what else to really recommend about that. Yes, live landfall coverage. Um, Probably tomorrow night. I am going to be doing a live stream tomorrow morning though, discussing the system. Okay, so be prepared for that. It could be a category 4 at that time. We'll see. I'm going to be doing a live stream right there, and then another one at tomorrow night. Oh, guys, and don't forget though, the Melissa animation is going to be releasing. Don't forget that. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel, as that's going to be releasing pretty soon. Here, the track of Hurricane Melissa. This storm, incredibly historic, and the intensity, of course, different than the National Hurricane Centers. Anybody have any guesses as to what the peak intensity we have it as? Seeing if anybody can get it right. I'm of course not gonna say if you got it right, but just gonna be interested to see the chats. Aiden says 185. Richie says 205. Andrew, thank you for your kind, because your information is informative. Of course. It's now drizzling in Bohol. Yeah, it's mainly those outer rain bands impacting you from the system, I'd say. 200 to 210 miles an hour, 200 to 205, 205. Wow, okay. 185 and sub 905 millibars. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see when that animation releases. It's going to be releasing Monday at 1 a.m. for you all in the Philippines, Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time, and Sunday at noon for those in Jamaica. How large is the eye of Fung-wong? We can take a look at that. The eye is about 100 kilometers wide right now, or that was earlier. Looking at it now, again, around 90 to 100 kilometers wide. It's pretty large. Is there a chance it could hit that city there? I don't think, I'm not sure. It'd have to go on the southern end of the forecast for it to hit there. Guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We're now down to 2 away from 5.04K. Thank you again, guys, so much for 5,000 subscribers. I did want to just celebrate a little bit there. Since we're not getting as many questions, I'm going to hide that question card. Guys, thank you all so much for the 5,000 subscribers. It's very, very much appreciated. Thank you all so much. Man, okay, so don't even know what to aim for now. I didn't think I'd reach even 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so, ooh, wow, okay. But who am I going to be seeing in tomorrow's live stream? Let's see, who's going to be ready for tomorrow's live stream? That's probably going to be 2 to 3 hours long. That's going to be pretty long. Richie, Noah. I said Andrew. Aiden's gonna try to be first. We'll see. You know, I always let people know. I get the notifications on YouTube. And don't forget to follow me on some other social media platforms as well. Here, if you have X, you can follow me there at Hurricane_Chase. If you use Instagram, you can follow me at HurricaneChaserChase. Let me see if there's any questions on here. Those questions were a little bit ago. Can it be a Category 5? Yes, it can be a Category 5. Okay, just seeing the... I got like 3 questions on Twitter. Not a whole lot there. But if you have Facebook or Blue Sky, you can follow me at Cyclone Tracking, mainly if you prefer to use that social media platform. Otherwise, I'd recommend you follow me on the others. If you have Discord, you can join the Discord server, discord.gg/chasesstorm. Right, again, though, Taiwan could be seeing some severe impacts. So, really, tomorrow is not going to be the only live stream. Tomorrow morning, got a live stream tomorrow morning, then tomorrow night, and then likely again on, let's see, tomorrow morning, tomorrow night, Monday morning as well for you all in the Philippines there. Then possibly again on Tuesday morning, and then Wednesday morning. So, again, could be seeing multiple more live streams, maybe 5 more live streams happening with the system. So, again, it's not over yet. Pampanga. Thank you. Again, guys, thank you all so much for the support. Thank you all so much for 5,000 subscribers. It really means the world to me. Thank you now for 5.04 thousand. I cannot believe we reached that. Again, guys, thank you all so much for watching, okay? Thank you so much for 5,000 subscribers. Now we're needing to aim for 6,000 and then 6 to 7,000 and then 10,000 subscribers. So really, guys, thank you so much for all the support. Remember, guys, I will see you in the next update. Stay safe.